I'm good.
So we're going to start with, I think, where we left off maybe last week, because Ted is concerned. I'm not as concerned. Give us a little update on your thoughts on this Jaylen Brown situation where he's playing 22 minutes a night and he's talking about being in pain and he doesn't look great out there. What does it all mean, and where does it all go when we get to the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get like the demand to get 65 games, but if he wants to be an All-NBA player or get the accolades that he feels like he deserves, then by all means, I guess go for it. It does feel a little bit strange. And what I would like to see, like everyone has to change their roles, like based off of injury. I'd probably like to see like a more aggressive Jaylen Brown, see if he can only go for 20 minutes just to see an all-out 20 minutes and see what that looks like. But, yeah, I mean, this whole thing's a little bit strange. It just doesn't feel like the way that this team operates. Didn't feel like they would go down this road, but that's the road they're going down.
Yeah, I guess I just want to flesh this out a little bit more, Scal. I mean, him talking about his injury and he's got a plan to manage it. I just worry. I mean, about what maybe other his teammates are thinking. KP had comments after the game last night where he's kind of questioning if what JB is doing. I don't know. Is this something that you feel like maybe could become an issue potentially if, I don't know, God forbid he gets hurt in one of these last few games if he decides to play?
I mean, if you're speaking on like him trying to get 65 games and the guys are like,
I am.
Like,
yes.
what are you doing? Yeah. I mean, I would be just like, so every player has the right to do what they want to do, right? If a star player who goes up to a coach and says he wants to play in 65 games, he wants to hit that threshold, then I think as a coach, you just have to do what you have to do. Like just like if a player came up to the coach and said, I don't think I can play because of my knee, or I think I want to do, I don't think I can play because of my knee, so I'm not going to play. You really can't do anything about that. And vice versa. If you say, the player says, hey, I can give you 20 minutes because I want to hit the 65 game threshold, you as a coach or as an organization, you're just going to listen to what the player has to say. You're not going to tell him what you think is best for him. You're going to let the player decide what's best for him. The player has all the information. So he has the information from the training staff, and the training staff can communicate with the coaches. They have doctors. He has his own doctor. Like all those things come into play, and then ultimately the player decides. So I think that if we're all like guessing on what should be done or whatever, it's really up to Jaylen Brown at this point. It's not on Joe Mazzulla. It's not on the training staff or anybody. They all have the same information, and they're making the decision based on what Jaylen Brown wants to do.
So, Scal, a lot of juice last night at the old Madison Square Garden. Really intense game, thrilling watch, a lot of fun. Obviously, the Celtics, dominated the Knicks the first 3 times last night. Much tighter affair. If the Celtics see the Knicks again, did last night's game give you, and especially like the way Karl Anthony Towns was able to score on Tatum, looked good last night. Brunson could be getting healthier. Do they give you any reason to pause or any fear whatsoever?
4 games? You think that team, like as much as you've seen, you're going to base it off of that game? 4 games?
What if they stretch the Celtics out a little more?
Well, yeah, I mean, if we would have dusted them again, what would you? I actually don't think there's much a correlation between the two. I know we're better. I know that things that we do, they have problems with, but they could have won that game by 30, and I wouldn't think that they could take 4 games off the Celtics in a playoff series. So the answer is no. I don't think. We got to remember, like guys like Jaylen Brown plays 20 minutes. Okay, we don't know. But Al Horford would have been there too. We're just loaded. We are loaded. So like who's beating this team? Like Oklahoma City, I could sit here, I can go on your show, I could swing by the studio, we could talk for an hour on the pluses and minuses of Oklahoma City. We can go back and forth. But anybody else, come on, man, we're just like fake news at that point. Why aren't we just like creating could you guys have to do a 4-hour show? We're just trying to kill an hour. Like, just be real. Let's just like throw it all away. Like, you can make a compelling argument about Oklahoma City. I could have made 2 weeks ago a compelling argument about Denver because they have Jokic and they're kind of big and physical. That's off the table right now. who knows how they are, but, like this whole thing, disaster, firing your GM and your coach on the same day is like the craziest thing ever. But Oklahoma City, we can have a conversation, but I don't know. The Knicks, 4 games. Bridges needs to catch the ball on the wing to make a play. He can't get a catch. I'm not down. I like the Knicks. I just don't think the levels of what we do and what they do it's a Grand Canyon size gap.
I mean, Karl Anthony Towns and Jaylen Brunson, score 34, 27 respectively, and still lose the game.
Yep.
Yep.
Correct.
But
they're
Celtics
going to replicate that 4 times, and then other guys they just don't. I told everybody that Mitchell Robinson will make a difference, or Anunoby being healthy will make a difference, but not 4 games. He'll make a difference as in we're not going to sweep them.
The Knicks may not be able to replicate that, but can the Celtics replicate? We're used to 30-30 games over the years, but a lot of times it's Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Last night it was Tatum and Porzingis. If these concerns with Jaylen Brown grow into the postseason and maybe he's not himself and maybe he's limited, do you have confidence that Kristaps Porzingis might be the guy that steps up and be that sort of secondary running mate with Tatum and do this on a night-by-night basis in the postseason?
It's all about how much the defense is going to tilt towards Tatum. I don't know if you guys consume basketball the way that I do. Everywhere I watch with the Celtics, the defense is really leaning towards Tatum right now. Just all the plays that he's been making. And when he comes off the screen, the fact that they have to be up the floor, he can snap that behind the back pass. You could throw Derek White in that mix, when Porzingis sets a screen and Derek White's getting to his right hand. If defenses don't pick him up, he's got that floater to his right. So no, I just don't. It could be White on a day, it could be Hauser on a day, it could be Holiday if people don't want to guard him. But it's all started with. And I think right now, I've been, talking to some other coaches that, I have relationships with around the league, and they're all saying the same thing. Tatum is probably one of the hardest guys in the NBA to stop, just because he could shoot that 3 off the dribble. He could stretch you out on an ISO and kill you with that, kind of that sidestep 3. He's passing the ball really well. He goes over the top. He goes on the pocket pass. He has that behind the back pass, left hand, right hand. So, the biggest nightmare in the Eastern Conference right now, and you could probably make this argument league-wide, but I just don't think that they're talking about it because they are focused on their own conference. But right now, the biggest problem for the NBA to stop is the Celtics shooting with Jason Tatum and the way that he's running pick and roll. The best play in the NBA right now is Murray Jokic. Murray's hurt, but Murray Jokic pick and roll, you can understand why. I can talk about this for 20 minutes with Jokic, but the second best play is Cornet and Tatum on that pick and roll, 1.34 points per possession. And that's what about the times where Tatum shoots it and then Cornet cleans up the offensive glass? Team's got really, really big problems trying to stop Jason Tatum right now.
And Scal, I'm glad you brought Cornet's name up. You got the playoffs, starting next week, and typically in the playoffs, the bench gets shortened, minutes get, scaled down to just a few players. But you look at the Celtics. They got. Their bench. You go all the way. Cornet is the 9th player with the 9th most minutes, and you talk about how he's playing. He's in a lot of the metrical kind of categories. He's one of the top guys. Could you see the Celtics kind of playing 9 guys in the playoffs this year?
Yeah, I do. I got a stat for you. So just in general, these are all just general. If teams, when they shoot, when they play defense, they get about 75% of the defensive board. So about 25% are out there. So that's the whole entire team, the whole entire offensive team gets about a quarter of the rebounds. Do you know in Luke's last 5 games, this guy is getting 24.4% of all offensive rebounds available. That individually, he's getting more offensive rebounds per missed shot than teams in the NBA. Think about that. Call a team, Charlotte Hornets, whatever. You name a team. Luke Cornet is getting more percentage of offensive rebounds than even adding 5 guys on the court. That is crazy right now. So Cornet's in, Hauser's in, Pritchard's in, heck, man, you might even throw Baylor Shireman in there for like a couple minutes if a guy gets foul trouble, or you're trying to just like stretch minutes out or whatever. Like it's, and I'll keep going back. I'm going to keep on, because we're going to keep talking through the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's all because Joe Mazzulla can put, like, all those guys I just mentioned, you can put Tatum with those guys, and that could be a plus lineup. Think about it. Like, they all compliment Jason Tatum on that. So, like, even Cornette, who's amazing right now, like, Cornette is getting, like, more offensive rebounds because people are worried about Tatum and the shooting. So he's getting free runs to the basket, and he's doing a great job. That rebound percentage for individual is tops in the NBA. But it all goes back to the star player, who is a real problem for people. And that's just the reality of the NBA. Like, when you have star players that have so much gravity that gets pulled their way, everybody else benefits from it.
So, Scal, I'm not sure if you heard this last night, but Darius Garland said to a team reporter after the Cleveland Cavaliers win, quote, "Now the playoffs go through us. They got to come see us at home now." To which you would respond?
Yeah, I mean, that's the answer. I mean, they have home court advantage, and I think it's good that he's confident like that. You have to be. If you're going to beat the Boston Celtics, you cannot think that you're like not the best team in the Eastern Conference. You have to think like game one, we're coming out and we're going to crush this team. So that's just, if you're an all-star player like Darius Garland, that's standard for, to think like that. But I can tell you, like, the sidebar story to that is they're trying to pump up Evan Mobley to make him believe that he is better than Porzingis and Al Horford and whoever's out there. So they're doing that to make Evan Mobley believe that he is the best player in the Eastern Conference. And that's why they keep, if you ever notice and do read anything between the lines with Cleveland, their whole thing is like, if Evan Mobley turns into what they think he can turn into, like a Kevin Garnett minus like the headbutting of the stanchion and stuff like that, then they think that they have a really good chance of winning. But if Evan Mobley, who has not played well against us, like not consistently, if he doesn't play well against the Celtics, they can't win. So I think all that is directed at Evan Mobley for him to, he's kind of a shy kid. He's a young kid, to get confidence. And I know that the Cavs have been really pumping him up.
Scal, two national stories. You sort of touched on one with the Michael Malone firing in Denver. This Luka Doncic ejection for apparently talking trash to a fan. Was that just a simple accident by an official? What'd you make of that?
I mean, Luka cussed that official out earlier. So I look at it both ways. He was talking trash to a fan, but he also got teed up earlier for, profanity at an official. So I don't know, if you're the official and he cussed at you earlier and then he turned at you and he cussed at you again, but he was cussing at the fan behind you, Luka's kind of going to have to pick a lane here, right? Like, that's just, I think it was a mistake. I wish they would have rescinded it. It was a really good game in the way that, like I was watching that game. It was 108-107 at the time. And the Lakers went on to only make like 2 field goals after that. And OKC just like smoked them. But in my opinion, if they make a mistake like that, just fix it. But, like the reality is Luka's over here cussing and staring down officials all game long. Like, you're going to get caught once in a while, right? So that's kind of how I feel about that. I wish they would have rescinded it because it was a really good game, and in the playoffs, that'd be a terrible decision. I wish the NBA can address something like that. Like with Tatum saying, "Come on, Peyton, you got to be better," and he claps his hands, and the official thinks he's talking to him, but he's actually talking to Peyton Pritchard. I wouldn't want to see Peyton. I wouldn't want to see Jason Tatum get an ejection for that. So I think all officials can kind of like go back and decide, but like when you do it all the time, you're going to get caught once in a while, and and referees are going to have to make a decision based off of that.
All right, Scal, before we let you go, we'll finish where we start, I guess. So do we expect to see Jaylen Brown tonight, and what would your over-under on minutes played be for him?
Yeah, I mean, 23 minutes. Like,
yeah, same old.
Yeah, it might be under that. Like he has to hit the 20-minute threshold for the game to count, so he's probably going to be somewhere around right there. And I don't know if you guys are into gambling or stuff like that. It'd be an interesting play, just to see. I'm serious. If it looks like he's going to be around those minutes, so is he going to be aggressive during that time? Is he not? Like, when a guy's only playing 20 minutes, the mindset kind of changes. So it would be a really interesting play. But as far as what he's going to do, I have no idea. But I think he'll be somewhere around there.
All right, Scal, appreciate you joining us today, and we'll talk to you next week.